Siblings.
Hey. Shucky. Hey. It's really good.
I had a broomstick, man.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything about this, but I swear Craig and I, as soon as CM Punk came out at Survivor Series, our thread got eerily quiet. We had a giggle from Cuz, and then we had silence for about 6 hours. And I was wondering, Jess, what actually happened with you? Because I thought you'd be all over going I can't fucking believe this. Like, see, I told you. What were you doing? What were you doing when I was like, dude, it fucking happened. Like, I can't believe it happened. It actually happened.
I was here. I was at my house. Joe was here.
Oh, nice.
And so we were watching it, and then
sense.
I just remember going when the copyright came up. I literally looked at Joe, and I was like, I'm not going to say something's not going to happen, because I still didn't want to believe it, because like everything, like all the hints they were doing, like, you know. But then I was like, you know what? Who's the kings of trolling? Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
They loved trolling the locker room when they were young. They loved messing with people. So it wouldn't surprise me if they were just dropping all of those hints like for the last month or so, just to acknowledge that Punk got fired and left the other company or whatever. Like, yeah. So I just thought, like, they're going to Chicago. They're knowing they're going to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't have opinion either way about it. But then the way they did it was cool. Like, you can only do that once though. Like, you know, wait till the copyright thing, because they knew that pullback camera shot and then that thing. The only thing that struck me weird, and I'm not saying I called it at all because I didn't, but like, was the way Michael Cole never really signed off. That I go back, I've been watching that over and over again. I'm like, of course they were waiting for it, because when it pulled out, he said something about the way they celebrated, and then it wasn't like a "we'll see you later" like line. It was just I don't remember what he said exactly, but it was like this
something like standing triumphant or something like that.
Yeah, standing triumphant, and he was like we knew they would, or something like that. It was weird. And then like he didn't say anything, and then the camera pulls back, and then you see all the logos hit, and I was like, that was great. I really enjoyed the way they did that, because I want to know legitly how many people actually said fuck this and shut their television off, or just didn't care either way. And sometimes I'll be watching a pay-per-view, and as soon as I see the copyright thing, I just change it.
Look no further than that text I sent you guys of the Forbes writer that covers wrestling.
Yeah, he hit send way too soon.
And said CM Punk did not return. Dumb. What an idiot, dude.
He didn't even wait until it turned. I guess the only thing they'll do next is like they'll do the copyright, and then they'll fade to black and go, just kidding, and come back.
They did it for Bray Wyatt when he returned. They did the copyright thing too before the lights went out.
They did. Okay. I knew that was sort of at the end. I couldn't remember if they put the copyright.
Yeah, I remember Daniel Cormier and Seth Rollins were standing at the entrance, and then the lights went out after the copyrights had already gone.
Maybe that's Triple H's Tony Khan will do the lights going out and coming back on. Triple H is the copyright. Like, the show's not even over and the copyright comes up. I'm like,
I thought it was the dust of coke flying up in front of the camera.
But there was a rumor like Triple H took over Gorilla just for the last couple of minutes.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Get out.
So just to do it,
they're all fired.
I feel like Michael Cole actually wasn't aware, but he was probably thinking something was going to happen, and that's why
he was probably told to either stretch it out, don't fully sign off.
Did you see the video?
Yes, he was dancing like he was jumping around,
he was happy about it. So like, I think he was like,
is he
going to come tonight? Is he returning tonight?
Corey Graves is all like the entire time.
He was shaking his head.
I mean,
I felt like
they're obviously setting it up because like Seth and him are going to feud, and but yeah, it didn't matter.
Yeah, they're doing great already.
I don't want to compliment Dave twice because I'm going to get sick to my goddamn stomach if I have to compliment Dave again. But I kept thinking about Dave the entire time, like going like the way they did it, and then the videos that released right after of Seth Rollins, like by the steel cage or whatever,
part of the plan.
And then like everybody, and I was like, they're making money off the fucking situation, which is what AEW should have fucking done from the beginning. Like, I was more mad about that. I'm like, they just literally did what they knew needed to be done. They didn't do anything special. I mean, the shock of the surprise, sure, but they didn't do anything special other than just play off.
Well, did you hear what
we all already made up in our minds?
Sheets too? Did you hear what they fed to the dirt sheets?
No,
that Seth Rollins tried to go after him backstage, and CM Punk just stood there looking confused, like that. They fed that to the dirt sheets.
Great.
Yep,
I love it.
It's fucking great.
I was
Drew McIntyre slamming his locker shut and leaving the building. Like all
I was
that.
just super
Yeah, I heard
excited
that, and then-
Jess said I was right about something. I got really
I don't.
excited about
I
that.
can't hear you. I think your mic. Something's wrong with your mic, Dave. Just don't talk the rest of the thing. That would be the best.
Yeah.
We'll fix it
And
before
so-
the next broadcast.
Was that even that interview with Rollins from 6 months ago, a year ago? Was stay away, Phil. I don't like him. You're all shocked. I don't like him. Like he was just he was
Stay
working
away
at that point too.
I think he tried to stay in
Forever.
kayfabe in certain.
That was like, yeah,
sense.
that was right after he got fired from AEW Punk. I
Like
think
the
they
first
just
time,
released
the
that
first
he
time.
got let go. No, the second time.
Oh, that
the
was
last
second-
time, the final
oh,
time.
second- I thought it was
Yeah.
after the first time he was let go that he recorded that he was available.
No, the first time he got suspended, he was never fired
Well,
the first time when he got into
isn't
a
it
fight
funny
with
that-
Omega and the dog.
Earlier in the year, Drew McIntyre was also on an interview, and they asked him what would happen if CM Punk would ever return. And he's like, "Well, I don't want to say anything, but he might get his head kicked off or something like that." He said some type of comment. So it's funny that Rollins and McIntyre are also being portrayed on screen as the two of the guys that do have beef with him or so.
Yeah.
But they're making money. They're all going to work together. They're going to make money.
Just
That's-
doing what you should have done,
Yep.
like that. God, it's just so easy. Like, I mean,
Come
I'm not
on,
saying
man.
it's easy because I used to run my own company, but I mean, like, it's so easy to do. Like,
Got
in
him.
other words, like
Got him.
what I like about Triple H and what
You
he's
got
done
me.
in the back, regardless of who comes back, is what Triple H. He's more in tune with what we live in.
Yep.
Vince is just like, well, if they don't turn heads in the airport and they don't make me excited, I'm not going to push them. Like, and Vince is just getting older. There's a time where no matter how smart
Brothers
you
don't
are,
fight.
how much your faculties are still there, you lose touch with like coolness. And when
Yeah.
you're doing a product like pro wrestling that pitches ideas to younger people, like you need somebody that kind
Right.
of has their hand on the pulse. And Triple H is just all over it. Like he understands now, how can we fool the audience in 2023, 2024?
Yep.
Because they, make them think they know more than they know. That's a good way to do it. Like AEW is terrible at it because they don't twist it. They just let the raw shit come out and they're like, well, what your opinion about it all is probably correct.
You have the
Whereas
talent there
WWE's
to
like,
make it
no,
happen.
we're going to let them write their own storyline. We're going to let them advertise Punk in their own minds up. So when they did finally sign the contract and he walked out, they're like, we don't have to do anything.
Yep.
Like all we have to do is show his face. That's all we have to do. And then his promo the next night on Raw,
It's perfect.
it was a combination of a bunch of things. I think
Yeah.
that he couldn't
Orton
say
and
anything
Dom
about
went long.
AEW.
Apparently.
Yeah, he couldn't say anything about AEW anyway. So I think it was smart that they did that. And then it was just more of like Punk paying, bringing up Paul Heyman, calling him the wise man a couple times,
Mhm.
which would also be cool if he turned heel and Heyman manages him on Raw and Roman on SmackDown. That would be badass.
Yeah.
Like, so there's a lot of different ways that they can go. Punk's still great on the microphone.
Yep.
He's still super polarizing.
Sure.
People care either way.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter. Like, and I don't think he's going to fuck up this time
I don't think
because
so
I don't know
either.
if he can anymore.
He
Like,
se-
I don't
Well,
think
there's
that.
there's
seems like
a
a
behavioral
difference.
clause in the contract that's been discussed
Oh my
already
God.
too.
But we don't know that. That's just
the
per
system
source.
and the machine's too big for him to
It's
fuck up.
there.
They won't let him.
I don't know.
It's a billion-dollar company.
I mean,
it's
everyone
made
is there
so
for
that he
everything.
can't
You
fuck
have
up.
to-
Exactly.
Anyone that's
I think
signed
it's
there.
even bigger than it was in 2000. No, I know it's even bigger than it was in 2014. And with like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not just Vince anymore. It's a huge corporation that owns them now. So it's just like you do one thing wrong, you're gone. Like, I mean, it's not even it won't even be a suspension or did that happen? It's like, they'd be like, just get him out. We have so many other stars. We don't really need him. It was just cool that we could bring him back and, use
It's
him.
a
So we'll
it's
see.
a completely different scenario now for that situation. When Punk was just griping the way he was, he had legitimate gripe that he was the man on top and he was kind of holding it together. And when retirement contracts people would leave, he would be the only one there standing the company up. But at the same time, the company was in major flux. It's definitely was struggling in those times. So I mean, if he doesn't see it now, what they've developed and taken, for lack of a better word, their farm league and brought them up to the big leagues, and they are now carrying. They're doing more than carrying. They produced a product that we haven't seen inside of 20 years. I mean, we probably have never seen it. We've never seen it on this level where you can host 70,000 people on 2 consecutive nights. It's never happened. So, by the way, he's never filled a stadium like that for 2 nights either. So, I mean, you argue he did it in Wembley once, but he's never done that any other time. And he has to look at that now and go, ooh, I am long in the tooth now. And if he doesn't realize that, and he's going to have to job out, because he's going to have to job out eventually. He will win some matches. But if he doesn't get that going into this and understanding that he is going to put people over, he will be gone quickly. And it won't hurt anything.
It seems
I
like a night
read
and
somebody's
day
comment
difference.
because one of his gripes when he left the first time was like, all I wanted was WrestleMania main event because you only get like a certain amount of shots, in your career and all that stuff. But somebody was like, what if he gets everything you want? He gets Seth for the title or whatever, and it opens night one, and I fucking belly laughed because I'm
Oh,
like, that'd be
That's
so fucking great.
hilarious.
That would be
Like,
hilarious. But that
The
would
whole
definitely
time,
main
Punk's
event.
like just assuming, and then Triple H is like, "You guys are gonna go out there first, and
Yeah.
just get the crowd up."
He's
and
all,
like,
Seth
"What the
Rollins
fuck?"
got a
Like,
movie. He's
so
got to
freaking
get
Get
out.
him off their ass, Tito. Get him off their ass.
Yeah, he's got to go to
Get them off their
Hollywood.
ass, Phil.
Seth's got to
Get
go
him
to
off their
Hollywood
ass,
for a
Phil.
movie after this.
Oh, damn it.
See,
Pissed off.
CM Punk
I
does
think-
seem different though.
I think they're just they didn't need him. I think it was good for them if they
Dude,
could get him.
it's a total cash
for
grab,
it.
man.
Like,
What's
I don't-
wrong
I-
with that?
The fucking
feel like
merch
he's
right away. He's already
polarizing.
He's already
doing
number
well
one
in the,
seller,
in the
yeah.
shirts,
Number one
He's
selling
number
merch.
Yeah.
one. He's number one on
think
the
it's
first
fine.
three shirts, just
which
by
is
sizes.
fucking gross. By the way, I fucking hate him, and I don't want him there. I think it's
I
disgusting.
know.
But
Well, that's
I
what,
get
that's
you,
what I was
buddy.
saying. Like
I get you, buddy. But
awkwardly, like I'm
It's
in
good
like
for the
the
product, though.
weird position.
absolutely.
Like usually, I know when he
It's-
comes to WWE, Cuz is all of a sudden the company guy. It's the best.
No,
Like,
I
fucking
liked it
best.
when he went to AEW. It just the tail end, it was all fucking shit.
You did not.
Yeah, I
You
did.
did
I was
not.
there in the hotel room when he.
That's when you told me the story when you're like, he hurt my feelings when he talked bad
No,
about
no, no,
wrestling when he
no. That
left.
was
And that's
when
why.
he left the first time in 2004.
Yeah, but you carried that hatred
Oh, yeah,
for a
I
long
did.
time.
But it was still interesting.
And
to
then
see
you
him go to
hate you
AEW.
hate AEW, so then that
I don't
all
hate AEW.
compounded, and then now it's all great. Anyway,
No.
it's fine. Totally
Garbage.
fine. You can like
Water-
whatever you
water-
want.
You're just like
under
the
the
dirt
bridge, buddy.
sheets. Spread
Yeah.
your own
It's
filthy
totally
information.
fine.
All right.
It's totally fine. It's
Fucking
totally
Dave
fine. You can
Meltzer.
stop talking. It's totally fine.
Jess Meltzer.
If that's what happened.
The only thing
Shut up.
that I heard some people talking about
If that's
that
what
were,
you saw.
that they
I
were
did
kind
talk
of
shit
pissed
on
off
him, though. I
about.
really did.
The only thing that they were kind of pissed about was they said it ruined Randy's moment of comeback. But
I feel that way.
I would
It did.
also I would counter that and say the person that cares the least about that is Randy Orton. He doesn't really care.
right.
No, he doesn't.
Dude, he's-
And you can
And
tell
maybe I shouldn't feel that way only because like Randy is going to be not a bigger part of the product than Punk because he's older and I'm sure he's going to wrestle less dates. But I think Randy likes being a part of the active storylines and stuff. You know, like I think Randy wants to be on every week whether he physically wrestles or not.
Right.
So I think that is going to be Randy's
Yeah.
story. Like
He
I think
doesn't
the
need
comeback-
his spot. He knows he has
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
spot. There's no competition in Randy right now. He's just like whatever.
well, if we're going to talk about Randy, that
We're
hulking
gonna
of a
have-
man,
we're gonna
Yeah,
have-
he's
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
huge now.
and he
dude,
committed
when
to
he walked
SmackDown
out
by
of-
the way
Yep,
tonight.
he's-
So
yeah.
he's
and
going
then
to be
he
on
and then he
Blu-ray,
RKO'd Nick Aldis is fucking great.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
And,
Damn it,
and then
that'd
he
be
did the
great.
thing where he's like, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And then
It's
he's
very cool.
Yeah.
He's like, but I did it.
I was
Because-
trying
wait
to
a minute.
tell him, I'm like, he's huge. Like, he looks the same to me. I'm like, no.
No, he doesn't. He was skinny.
Like, he was
so
McIntyre
skinny.
size. Like when they went
Yeah,
face
he's
to face.
fucking huge.
when he left,
Shredded,
when
too.
he left, it was under Vince's regime, right?
Yeah.
When he
Yeah.
got injured. So
Yeah.
this is gonna be interesting.
It
like,
was
him back
it was
under
five.
Triple
They
H
said it was
now.
500 days plus he was out.
Is
Yeah.
it a matter
Yeah.
of doing roids at home and then he can't do them now and he'll just kind of shrink
There-
from here?
somebody
I don't
had-
mean to be
no,
disrespectful, but,
somebody had a theory on that when you're in a process of healing, especially in an athlete set and you can afford it, you're going to take HGH. It's just a fact.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Yep.
And so the speculation
They're gonna give
by
you
people
steroids.
people that actually bodybuild for a living that are online, they were saying that he looks like someone. He had the. I guess when you do HGH and other stuff, your abs not only get shredded, but they push out. And
Yeah, that's
everything
what he
said,
has.
And your traps swell up like nobody.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
mine do.
Yeah, totally. I totally understand what that's like. And they were talking about he's I don't know for sure. I don't like Randy's never told me anything, but everything points to that. Which it doesn't mean he's on it now, and the regiment's probably gone, and he'll pass every test out there. But when he was at home working out, and nobody was testing him. He was probably.
Can you
taking
do
that stuff.
HGH, I wonder, for the E? It's
No,
not steroids.
I don't think you can. But I mean,
No.
he'll just eventually he'll probably stay in shape, but he'll just eventually slowly get smaller.
Shred.
But we're going to see
Yeah,
him all the
shred.
time now, so we won't think about it. Like, we won't really notice it too much.
Right.
We'll
So he
see.
comes
He's
out
probably
looking like a Funko Pop one day.
Right.
Like fucking big head mode and
only
007.
only people on the Judgment Day can do that. You know?
Yeah, I know. I like their shirt. I like that shirt. You know, it's funny. Like when CM Punk was doing that promo though, when he said, "Oh, I'm home," I was like, "You're just saying
your
that 'cause
favorite
you're
promo
back."
ever?
And then I was like, "No, wait a minute, actually, because when he started in '99, and then he signed with WWE in 05, and he was there for almost 10 years. So that is that's
till
where he's been the longest.
2014, yeah.
That's
yeah,
literally
it's
where
been the
I
longest.
always forget that he's actually been. I always think he was on the Indies and Ring of Honor and Impact longer than WWE. But it's like no, he actually WWE is.
Well,
his
because,
longest.
Because, yeah, like he came in, he
So that
came
is
on the
his
main
home,
roster for
I guess.
ECW, right?
Yeah, yep. ECW,
ECW
main
brand,
roster,
yeah.
There's
so I
lots
guess
of
that
ways
really
you
is
can
his
argue
home.
that he's home because of the time frame and because of it's the home he always wanted because he always complained about
Yeah.
the issues with how they treated him physically and That's not like that anymore. All that has changed. So
he's the biggest fucking hypocrite in the world. His entire angle in AEW
no,
was
he
telling
for
how
sure
much he
is.
fucking hated over there and go to the grass is greener. He's full of shit.
But that's everyone too, though. Bret Hart,
No,
Shawn,
yeah, he's a whore.
Ultimate Warrior.
He
Hogan,
tries to
all
stand
true.
behind
It happens
how,
all,
like,
it,
how
Well,
committed
brother, why
he
you
was
bringing
and
me into
how
this?
jacked
brother,
he was. He's
I was
so
just over here
full of
minding my own
shit,
business,
cuz.
brother. Like,
He's so
I was looking
full
at
of
Brooke.
shit.
I mean, my wife, brother.
You've held back. Craig has held back for so long on this.
Sorry,
Like,
Craig.
I thought I was the one that was angry about. CM
Dude,
Punk.
get your money. I'm fine, but if your entire
Yeah.
angle the last 10 years is like poison, how much of a poisonous, toxic hellhole that place was, and then you're just fucking gonna chase a dollar now, like
because
fuck
you know what
off.
they're gonna do. What AEW also should have done was they're going to make him heel, and he's because look at
Oh
what
my
Kayla.
God,
Did you see what
that's
Kayla did?
So needed.
You saw what Kayla tweeted?
It's gonna be amazing, and he's fucking a creative genius. And when he's on, and with the right fucking his matches are gonna be
You
outstanding.
know what I can say though? Like,
Mhm.
I think what's evident about him, and I hate to, because not everybody is meant for this, and I don't mean this as like a against him, because you could only name like maybe on one hand the actual biggest wrestlers that have ever been, that have controlled the locker room, that have actually been, politic with Vince man and on man. You got the Hogan, the Rock, the Austin, Undertaker because of the longevity,
Oh,
and
yeah.
a couple other
Jericho
people
did
were
it.
up close or whatever. But I mean, like, not everybody could do it. Phil's just not a leader, and I hate to say it, like, he's just not.
true.
Like, his character is this renegade guy that you want to follow. But if you follow,
he's closer.
if you
he's closer
follow
to
Phil Brooks in
Michaels
real
than he
life, he'll
is
leave you in the
others.
parking lot. Like, he doesn't care. Like,
Yeah.
because not
He's
everybody
clo-
can
he's
do
close-
that. Not
he's
everybody
closer to
likes
Shawn
that
Michaels.
environment.
He's a Shawn Michaels in the prime. That's what he is. I mean, Shawn Michaels would have left you for dead too in those times. He's gotten a lot better.
You know what?
He's changed.
That's 1,000% true. And Shawn Michaels addressed
I'm being
that.
I'm being a dick right now, but at least Sean had drug addiction as his excuse in the first half of his career.
Hey, what are you
CM
talking
Punk has nothing.
Shawn
He's just
do that,
Michaels.
man.
Shawn Michaels addressed that, I think, this week and said, I was an
talking about
asshole, but I was two things.
Oh, no,
I was
brother,
good
just-
at my job and I was dependable. And that's all CM Punk has
I guess
to
if your
do.
name starts with H,
if you are a
Heartbreak
dick,
Kid, Hulk Hogan.
as long as you show up, like, but yeah, I mean, good for him. He's gonna be fucking great.
See, I feel like
and
go ahead.
they're all theater. It's all theater.
Because RVD said that like Punk tried to like tell you that he was the locker room leader. I felt like in AEW he kind of actually tried to do the opposite, and he was like trying to be a leader there, especially with Collision and everything. I just think he still let his temper get ahead of himself. But I think now it feels more like he's probably learned from all that shit, and he's like, okay, I just gotta, instead of telling people I'm a leader, I just need to kind of act like one and take younger guys on the. Everyone was saying that he was backstage talking to all the
and
younger
if you
guys.
see someone else fucking
introduce them. He's not
around,
gonna do
like, if you see somebody else fucking off or whatever, like, just let them fuck off. Like, they're gonna get caught or you know what I mean. Like, they'll not make it to the top if they're not serious.
yeah,
So let
no,
them
exactly.
The difference is now you got real people that'll bounce your ass out of here if you don't play ball. Like Tony Khan wasn't gonna bounce him, and now Tony Khan feared for his life. It's such a mess, and I don't know if you guys want to keep talking about it.
That's why Tony Khan is a mark and not a true promoter, because to not see how you can
what?
make money and make it carny. Fucking, he's the
said-
only
I-
one that
We can
didn't
say
fucking do
EVPs,
it.
but
Every
he's
single other
letting them
person.
from
Well, I don't think they're EVPs no more, right? Omega and Young Bucks. Didn't they get those titles removed?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
think they
Who
are,
cares?
but I don't know. Maybe
And then-
maybe you're right. Yeah.
QT Marshall. One
QT
interesting thing.
Marshall's
One last thing about Punk and Triple H, and I love this because it's totally Punk. So it's kind of a power move whenever you see Triple H backstage or anyone with someone in a photo,
Yep.
and the most powerful guy is doing this. Like, I'm pointing to this guy because I'm deferring to this guy, but he has the real power, right? So that photo of Triple H and Punk backstage is H does that, and then Punk does it back with a weird face, like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
So Punk was not going to defer to him to be like, stand up and take like the point. They both fucking pointed at each other with Punk saying like, point is weird. Like, it was, I just was like, haha, he can't even do the photo backstage and just accept the Triple H point. Like,
here's what's crazy about that, Craig. That's fascinating.
I don't know
that
if that made sense at all.
No, I know what
No,
you're
no,
trying
no,
to
no,
say.
it
I
does-
think
I
it's
know
more
what you
like
mean.
Punk, like
There's-
you thought this wasn't going to happen.
But I'll tell you,
and it's
I'll tell
happening,
you,
and-
well, I'll tell you what that does. If that's anybody else, nobody would even care. Roberts was talking in his podcast this week about like, well,
Come on, my
maybe
man.
they did know, and it's like, he's like, well, look at it this way. It can't be both.
Just
Either
had a
they
ham
did or
and
they
cheese
didn't know.
sandwich.
And if they didn't know, then Drew, to your point, Craig, wouldn't have ran backstage. And if they did know, Seth wouldn't have reacted the way he did. So
Exactly.
the whole thing is, it's all, I don't know about the photo, Craig, but it's all a work. And
It's great.
The biggest thing is, though,
As it should be.
because it's Punk, it's incredibly polarizing, and you're constantly questioning if it's real or not. And that's why they brought him in. I was like,
Yes.
Damn it, Roberts, you're freaking right. That's exactly why they. That's exactly
Yes,
why.
sir,
Because
my man.
even if it's all staged, they're like, but it's Punk though, so it could be real. Could be that could be
Yes.
real beef, and it's like, damn it, because he's so polarizing, and he's the only
It's
person.
what worked with him the first time, from the
It's
interview on the
fascinating.
ramp.
Yeah.
It's like he just set that standard with himself of like, you don't know if I'm real or not. The winning the title with no contract and like all that, like it's always been
It's
his thing.
amazing.
That's
But it's
why
great. It
people,
is great.
even when he got suspended by AEW, they're like, oh, it's a joke. They're
Well, you didn't
building up
know.
for an
You
angle.
didn't
Like,
know.
yeah, it's always been that way with Punk.
As
like,
much as like the clown on
just,
con, I was
just turns
hopeful.
out AEW is really fucking unorganized sometimes, almost all the
See,
time.
like my whole thing was I was actually intrigued at the possibility that CM Punk could have been the devil under the mask. That
Sure.
I thought that would have been like I would be like, man, if
Amazing.
they do that, that's because of everything that's
Talk
happened
about-
up until that point.
Yeah.
Like that would have been.
But
Talk about
instead,
the
what gets
Aaron
like is
Solo.
Daniel Bryan leading the commission
Yeah.
to decide whether he gets fired or not. That's not good for Daniel Bryan either. But it's like,
Well, and maybe it is signs for greener pastures in the sense that, like,
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
he's realizing, you know what, Daniel Bryan can do this job. Like, maybe
Yes.
he's like trying to lean on Daniel Bryan a little bit and eventually just massage Omega and them out of the manager.
He learned
picture,
from Vince.
like,
He learned
But
from
you
Vince.
want to know what the biggest problem
Dodging.
with AEW is? As I'll try to shift it here, and I apologize if I'm shifting too soon. But
Mm-mm.
the biggest thing about AEW that's killing them is they don't understand they don't even know what their identity is. And I'll give you some examples. And because you talked about this today, and I saw a really good example. We Jess and I and a few others were in the forum, right? And we saw.
Full Gear.
That's right. Oh yeah, we didn't even
Packed.
speak about our 2-week hiatus.
Yeah.
We've been
Yeah.
gone for 2
But
weeks.
we'll-
'cause-
The biggest
but
return
we'll-
in wrestling
But
is now.
here's the thing, right? And we saw a match where we literally saw a guy drink another guy's blood and spit it all over the ring, which is honestly just phenomenal. I'm like, that's an identity right there. And then you see Edge and Christian out there, or whatever you want to call them. I don't really care. Saying go fuck yourself. I'm like, this is great television. But then Ric Flair gets out there and he talks about having women within a certain age come to his hotel room.
Woo! 18 to 28.
No, we can't have that. I'm just like, do you guys have what is your identity?
Well,
exactly?
okay,
I
all
don't
right.
want to believe that
Hang
out.
on a minute.
That line is a little creepy.
Oh,
It's a little. But
I
I
don't-
get what you're saying too. But
it's all offensive. That's my point.
Yeah, no,
It's
yeah,
all
yeah.
offensive. And if you can't figure out what your identity
World.
is, and you can't figure out like that stuff's
I-
gonna happen.
I
and
got, I
it's
gotta, because Cuz said it earlier about something, so I think it has to apply to both. I don't remember when we first started recording. Cuz is like, well, that's just what was said. It doesn't. We don't know if that's true. This is what it was written about. Same thing. Listen, I'm not saying there's not unrest in AEW or there's not a basic feeling of unorganization. Not saying that. What I'm saying is Flair could have went long after being told not to go long because it's a tape program, and even though they can edit stuff out, they might have a short turnaround time, meaning they have to turn it into TBS. Probably a tape program probably goes through different like stations before it airs than a live program would. So Flair was probably told to cut it short. It just maybe happened that they cut his mic after he made that line, and then some dipshit writes, "Oh, apparently you
fair.
can't say that in AEW," and then it comes out. I'm not saying it's not the reason. Maybe they didn't like that line.
Well, Flair
Dave-
apologized. Remember for that. Remember
He did. I'm so sorry.
Well, you know,
but like,
he
yeah.
saw the reports
if
of
I'm
it. and then,
embarrassing myself, I'm like, you're
Yeah.
embarrassing yourself by apologizing.
Can I
Like,
just
shut up,
thing?
Right.
Like,
I know he needs a.
I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm just a silly old man.
Why they
Nobody
should've
knows.
never brought him in
But
there in the
he-
first place.
He could have, and he could have
Should've never
So
brought him
true.
there in the
They
first place.
didn't cut it
It's
for
so
the line.
true.
They cut it for time. He could have just said that then.
Right. No, the problem is, and like, people need to shut the fuck up because he's 72 years old, but he's still the nature boy. So he's saying lines that he said when he was 25, 30 years
Exactly, yeah.
old. So
I agree.
although he looks decrepit
true,
in the
though.
Crypt Keeper, he's still saying, "I like Space Mountain and 18 rows. I like big red pop pussies." Blah, 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 blah. And
Just
except he
holds
looks
it
like
all
your,
over the camera
your
and
grandpa.
Charlotte.
So it doesn't work, but he's just being Ric Flair. So it's
Yeah,
just
just
like,
do.
True.
If
Yeah,
they
the
don't
way-
give him, if they just give him bullet points, he's like, "I'll give you bullet points."
yeah.
So yeah, and it's a tape show. I think that's just much ado about nothing. And I think Rick is such a 70-something-year-old intoxicated
Yeah.
man all the time that like he's just like like tweeting, "I'm sorry if I'm embarrassing myself." Like it's like, you are embarrassing yourself. Stop.
It's like some people's holiday dinners.
yeah, I
man.
saw your last
Oh,
match with
yeah,
a
right.
t-shirt.
Like
You
it's the
fucking
uncle
didn't
that
drink
you
water
know
all
was
day. You're
never
embarrassing.
respected me.
Pass the cranberry sauce.
That is
Sorry.
perfect to say that like that, Dave, about they need to figure out what or they don't know what their identity is.
They don't know what their identity
because
is.
they're
That's
sports
the issue.
entertainment and they're pro wrestling, they're hardcore wrestling, they're fucking.
Well, define that though, because
18 day off.
but define that though, because I mean, I guess ECW didn't work out in the long run. I mean, ECW was the same thing, like in a sense. It was hardcore. Then it was like Benoit and Guerrero getting there and not using a fucking chair, not touching anything except wrestling. And on the same card, you know, they did it all. And the Sandman would come out and fucking crash beer cans on his head. It's the same thing.
But they're not here no
it's
more.
the same thing. Right, no, that's what I'm saying. Like you're right. Like I guess it didn't make it either.
I guess what I should say is if he's figuring, do you want to be like that and then just maybe not be on a big major deal next year TV station, or do you want to be what WWE?
Or take a lesser deal for a later time slot or something,
or do you want to be WWE?
How many kids were in the audience for Full Gear? I'm totally curious.
It was packed.
Did you see a lot of children?
Wasn't it packed?
No.
Yeah, to what I can tell, it was sold out. There was like 12 to 13,000 people there, no problem.
Yeah. See, that's what it
but children rise. How many young children like in a
I
WWF show?
It was.
I don't remember seeing any.
Small.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
there
good.
was,
that's good.
People aren't irresponsibly bringing their fucking kids to see.
It's a different crowd, and so like
finger painting gets stapled to Swerve's face.
I never asked what Dave thought about it because that was Dave's first AEW experience live, and he doesn't watch the product much because they're dumb and they don't stream. So Dave can't watch the product. And Joe did go to a pay-per-view last year, the one with the Iron Man match with MJF and Daniel Bryan. He loved it. Joe loved both.
There wasn't a bad match on the card. It was all fantastic and entertaining, and it was incredible. It's just
it looked like it.
You know what it is? They're the damn professional hockey league of wrestling is what they are. Like it's a great product, but they can't figure out how to market it. Like. Have you guys ever been to a hockey game?
Okay. Because I think kind of said something like that a couple weeks ago or whatever. I don't remember what he said, or maybe it was on the text thread. But it was more like, bitch. It was more like
no, I didn't. It's like that.
They have an identity on pay per view, and then when they go to TV, they can't be that same identity. In other words, like I guess that is a contract. Like, and then they try to be a little sports entertaining with the Adam Cole and MJF thing or whatever. And like, then when they do that, their hardcore fans are like, "This is bullshit. We come for other stuff." But then when Moxley bleeds too much, they get criticized for that. And it's like, I feel like they can't do the same things on TV. Like ECW would kind of just do everything. Like you would see the same, they would be even crazier on pay-per-view, but their whole television product from the beginning was, this is who we are.
Yeah.
Like AEW seems like on TV, we have to do this. And the longer you're in a deal with TBS, the more TBS is going to tighten the reins on you a little bit. And I think Tony Khan's experiencing that going, it was all cool. Yeah, it was all cool 3 years ago when you were getting 1.1 million viewers, when you were selling out, 17,000 seat Collision.
Yeah.
Collision wasn't around then, but now you're not. Like you still got a core audience, but you're up around the 900,000, 800,000 area for Dynamite. Your pay-per-views have dipped a little bit. Like you're not bringing in the same interest. So of course, any television company is going to be like, don't cuss so much, or don't bleed so much, or don't make references to choking people, or whatever, they're going to like lay on you. And I don't think Tony Khan knows how to handle that because like what Craig and all of us has said it, he's a fan of the business too much. Not of the business. He's a fan of what he's seen on television and thinks, oh, I can run that. And then when you start running it, you're like, oh, this is way
when
harder.
you get the receipts and then you realize just how much of a niche business you are, and you're never going to have children, and you're never going to be able to like young men watching with families or families watching at night. It's going to be like a hidden thing where the kids have to be at the room and they can't go to the shows, and you're giving up
can't go see
50% of the income on phone fingers. Like,
I'm not offended
you got to
by
deal with
certain
that.
things.
You got to be okay with that because you're
But
never going to get.
I was thinking as we were there live watching the Texas Death Match, I was like, I'm really glad that I didn't get this on pay-per-view on the weekend that I have the kids.
Yep.
Because I would have
you said that when we were
I would have had to turn it off, and I'd probably turn it on in my bedroom and just went in my bedroom and watched it because or I'd have to watch it later when they're asleep. Because I would have immediately shut it off the second that, even though I should know better, because I know when they say they're doing a death match in AEW, they're really doing a death match. So, but I mean, like sometimes you just have stuff on in the house.
Best death match I've ever seen, in my opinion. Too.
You cannot compete on ratings, so it's unfair to compare ratings with SmackDown and Raw and AEW because of that. It's with families and people.
Maybe
like you
Tony
can't.
Khan wants this, Dave Meltzer.
I was trying to bring this up to you in the pay-per-view, but I thought they were doing an incredible job of overproducing and definitely getting way ahead of themselves.
They're trying to tighten it up.
Dude, I love there's no vignettes between the matches, it's bell, bell, bell. It's wrestling and it's action. It's like that's the AEW
probably,
always seems to go boom.
There's
boom,
a lot of pros.
Danielson
that,
is probably doing that. Is probably responsible for
But,
a lot of that.
but here's the issue.
Oh, that's
that
a good
I saw,
point,
right?
cuz that's a good point. Like he's changing the pacing
the
now
last
that he's got a
couple
little bit
weeks,
more.
he
in.
probably-
It's
we
kind
gotta-
of already.
we gotta
It's been
fix
like that
something
though. Like it's been like that for about a year, I think. Right? Like AEW just goes bell to bell to bell.
Did you catch the pay-per-view though, Craig, or no on that one in Los Angeles? Because
No, Jess didn't buy it, so I couldn't steal it from him because he was
Are you
fucking
talking about
there. I was like,
pay-per-views,
"You're an
Craig, or
asshole."
like television?
Yeah. What I was going to tell Dave too, because I would always text Dave because I know he didn't have AEW. I would always text Dave as a joke every Wednesday. Turn on AEW, Dave. Turn on AEW.
I'm
And
like,
I was going to
can't,
text
I
you on
can't.
Saturday.
So Craig,
turn
you
on
haven't
AEW while
seen
you were
anything
there.
from that? You didn't see anything from that show?
Just the Twitter clips.
Just the highlights.
I
yeah,
saw
I've only seen the
like
highlights.
that.
I didn't
that
want
night,
it.
like everything.
Sorry, I
There
didn't
was a
want
couple
to spend
matches that were. I can't say any match had me bored at all. All of them carried their weight. But the Texas Death Match was like, holy shit! I don't think I've never seen.
The only
that.
thing was like people liked the MJF angle where he was driven away ambulance and he came back and
he was over as fuck. MJF.
Yeah,
it's not
totally,
even fucking close.
And that's totally true. I just had a serious issue, and this is where the overproduction comes in. I know maybe I'm nitpicky, but this stuff kind of matters if you want to be real. If that's who you are, you want to be real. You don't have the ambulance. I mean, I know the ambulance could technically be on standby, ready to go. But you don't throw someone in an ambulance without actually even checking them out to see if they're really hurt enough where they have to go in the ambulance. Like they already had the video right there, and he jumped in. They sent him. He was off. I'm like, you could have waited for the promo to cut. You could have waited for a match to end and then show it. And then, oh my god, they're really taking it. What's going on? Yeah. And then you don't say anything. You don't. They go out of their way to say that he can't wrestle and Adam Cole's going to wrestle in this place. And I'm like, okay, no, like he can't even walk. And how does he defend the title? That makes no sense.
Dave was like yelling. Dave was like, "So you mean to tell me that a guy who is injured and we all know it and has a cast on his foot is a suitable replacement from a guy you don't fucking know was injured because you just took him to the hospital?
Yeah,
but he's okay. Like he could defend the title."
And then MJF comes.
Some of the areas
MJF is coming back to the ring limping without crutches. And they're like, no. They got 17 people holding him back, but Adam Cole's got crutches on.
No, you get to the ring now, Adam.
Yeah.
Don't you fucking defend the belt.
But he's the perfect. He even said it's a perfect amalgamation of 80s, 90s, and O's wrestling. And MJF is just paying an homage. It's no different than Nitro did that shit all the time. It's like
I rolled my eyes,
it's
right?
It's an identity crisis. It's not real. Then it's not as real as they portray themselves to be.
And he's not trying to have us buy it 100%, which is very strange because if you're going to do the blood and gore,
and I also think too that like if Tony Khan is trying to hotshot, WCW is proving that on their dying days. He hotshotted all the time, Bischoff, to try to save it. That will never save it. The only thing that's going to save it is you will have to swim in the stank for probably another 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Because it's you soured people, whether it was the whole Punk debacle or whatever it was. You soured people. People are and Vince getting kicked out and Triple H taking over did not help their cause. Let me tell you that. I think that's the main reason. That's when it turned to me. I was like,
best things happen to wrestling.
Yeah, WWE's got a fucking cool product again. Now you're fucked. And then sure enough, it started dipping down.
Know your place and live in it and put the best product out there. Stop
just don't give. Honestly, don't
be done with it.
Yeah, and don't even punch up anymore. Don't honestly don't say shit about WWE anymore.
But he still didn't learn because what did he say to the Wrestling Observer just the other day? I'm here to make friends, not money. Which, goddamn it, Tony, just turn into a heel.
Tony Khan said that.
Yeah, he said that on the Wrestling Observer.
I wanted to, but he won't happen. It won't.
Why?
It would.
And I realized that
he can't do anything.
Mine and Cuz's little debate about is it going to be Adam Cole as the devil or MJF as the devil? I realize it doesn't matter because either one's like kind of obvious. Like either one will be like, then where are you going to go? Like, it's like, God damn it. Like
that's what I said. Like if at least they had they weren't pushing it themselves, but the fans had the belief that it could have been Punk. So they had that going for them. That just got sucked out. And now it's like,
one of those things now, whatever it is, it's not going to be good enough.
Even if it's
Cole, it's not good enough. It's Wardlow, it's not good enough.
I would say
it doesn't matter if it's unless it's someone coming from WWE, the whole fucking thing
That's
is not good
why
enough
I think
now.
that it just needs to be the obvious and not the MJF obvious. It needs to be Adam Cole. Because I feel that Adam Cole could be a good heel.
It's going to have to be
that I would love to see Adam Cole's always cool with factions. and I would
Yeah.
love to see that. At the very least, we can watch the programming afterwards. Like it is about the shock, but it's also how you carry the shock throughout the storyline.
But you don't, when you carry it too long, it becomes raw general announcer, like the computer robot voice that never paid off. It's not there yet, to your point, Jess.
And Adam Cole got injured, and I get it.
Yes.
It's been a lot of shit he's been dealing with too.
But and there was a cool shot of like when Adam Cole, because it can't be the devil because the devil came out, but Adam Cole in the chair or whatever, like was clicking in his shorts. Did you see that? Like he controlled turning the devil video on. I thought that was a nice, interesting like touch.
If it pays off, it's
they just need to do the little things like that make it. Like,
I got the spoiler for you, man. It's gonna be Omos. That's good.
Right. Well. So then,
like,
then they're going to win the war.
How did the devil get 4 times as big and weigh 500 pounds?
Yeah.
How did that
like
happen?
if it's like,
he just transformed.
If it's Drew McIntyre or something,
he walks out like the mask is like
small.
right here.
I'm like, that's almost like it's so obvious. It's almost. And he's like,
speaking of the greatest wrestler of all time, almost
Ryback. Ryback is the greatest wrestler.
I just saw the sponsor. No, I had a sponsored ad or whatever, or it popped up, and it was Omos in Florida for the Royal Rumble promotion, but it's like him and Natalya. Like hanging out on the beach, drinking fucking mixed drinks and shit. Like Omos is, and he's taking pictures with fans. Like people were posting in the comments, like we saw him there. We took, he was like really nice. Took pictures with us.
Dude, you should just keep him on the roster. Surely as a circus animal, like circus freak.
Well,
like
they haven't promoted Royal Rumble, so they know already.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, well, you can have him for those big events like that where he's the guy you can't get out of the ring and all that stuff. But
he's the human giraffe.
I think Triple H is being smart with him. I think he sees. I think he's seen what happened with guys like Andre. And Big Show,
Giant Gonzalez,
Great Khali. Well, like their knees. I think he's trying to preserve.
Omos just peed on me.
I think he's trying to. Yeah.
Can I get a picture?
At the very least, though, what AEW is giving me that I really enjoy is Christian and I love it. Like I love
Christian. Yeah, Christian is the best thing on there.
This week was really good too.
Like go fuck yourself.
But at first he's like nice because Christian tried to lay it on thick or whatever. And he's like, Adam, we all know that you don't have a dad. Like, and everyone starts just fucking, like that. But then he laid it on or whatever. And he's like, no, like you came from my house and you became part of my family. And it was really a good promo. But what's so brilliant about Christian is like, you knew he was full of shit and he wanted you to know he was full of shit. And then Edge kicked him in the balls and then goes, yeah, nice try, dumbass. And then throws the microphone down and leaves and gets back in and the perfect touch. He's like, oh yeah, I almost forgot. Go fuck yourself. And he throws the microphone. And I was like, but that kind of said they didn't fucking bleep it on the West Coast. So I'm in here, I'm watching it or whatever. I'm like, oh, this is really good. And he's like, go fuck yourself. And I was like, and there's no beep. And then like a minute later, the sound cut out, like where they should have hit the button. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I mean, I liked it, but I was like,
Ric
they probably
Flair
got
must
a little
have been fucking back there.
Yeah. I'm totally not pressed the button.
He's doing his lines like 18 to 28, be there in my room. I got a big old.
It was probably a chick audio engineer, fucking chick, and he had her bent over the fucking mixer board. Offset. Tony Khan fucking doing a line off the fucking fader right next to him.
Oh my God.
Is there Flair t-shirts or merch? Because let's just fucking.
No, it's just probably Woo Wings or fucking Woo Energy is all
like
it is.
18 to 24s only, Ric Flair.
I thought.
Did you notice that? Like when they're wrestling and they go outside the ring on the entrance ramp, big screens during all wrestling matches, it's fucking a logo of Woo Energy drink. I'm like, fucking
see, that's disgusting to me.
That's why you're there, Flair. That's not because, like in his apology, I'm just here for things. He's like, I don't need any money. Here to do thing.
The whole time he was out there in Los Angeles, I'm
just here for Sting. What's wrong with that?
The thing,
like it's, like he's forcing a lisp at this point.
So who's going to be Sting's last opponent in March? I'd kill myself. I'd put it.
A month ago I was like, that's the dumbest thing, but now I'm like, it's going to be Ric Flair. That's going to be. I think it's going to be Darby. I think it has to be Darby.
Right?
And I don't think they need to turn Darby heel either. I think that they could just pass the torch.
Right. Yeah. It's gonna be. I have to do this for me, and Sting's gonna respect it. It's gonna be a battle for respect.
And or maybe Sting will turn on him, but not like a hardcore heel turn. No. Like, I have to turn my back on you now because I'm leaving.
I'm doing this for your own good, kind of thing.
Yeah, this is. You need to beat. Like, I'm the final boss. You need to beat me.
You need to survive without me.
If you want to stick around,
and then except he's gonna be destroyed.
I love Sting, man. I'm gonna miss him.
Drop with one shoulder.
I'm definitely gonna. What is it? Revolution? AW Revolution? Is that where he's gonna?
I think so. In March. It's in North. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina. So of course Flair's gonna be.
If Flair gets on, totally gonna get it.
Flair's gonna be in every match that night. Come on.
He's gonna be in every match.
Yeah, he's gonna be in every match.
Special.
Come
Everybody,
on,
what's
Wardlow.
the title?
I don't.
I'll show you what's timeless. And
I
the big
can
blur
stand
like
my
comes
face.
in.
He's not.
Eagle
he's
Space
not
Mountain's
really-
timeless.
He has no real impact by being. It's just.
He doesn't. It's just
No,
more,
I
just
I
there to
think
look sad.
it's great for his legacy. I think the legacy of Flair.
Oh, yeah, wait till he's drinking blood and
continues to get-
spitting it up in the air when he faces.
I just keep
Swerve.
thinking of him and Terry Funk whenever I see him in that purple fucking suit, tripping over himself, saying, "I want to bang 18-year-olds." I think it's the Flair that I remember.
It would disappoint me if he was any other way.
I feel like there's some edits coming in this podcast.
If he behaved himself in AEW, I would be disappointed.
I
So
can think
like,
of at
let's-
least 2 edits at this point.
Yeah. All mine. I said,
No,
I've
earlier.
I'm
I've got
sorry.
one for sure.
Don't worry,
I've got
Craig.
one
I'm there
for
with
sure.
you too.
Thanks, buddy.
I'll be going down.
I've got one. Trust me.
Oh, I got like 3 of them in there already.
By the end of this thing,
There's like 10 more to come.
But it was the last 2 weeks have been super action packed. It was fun. AEW show.
We didn't talk about
Survivor
Survivor Series.
It was a good show.
It was a great
show. I thought the women's match was really
really good.
good.
Yeah.
Like
It's
That
always,
was,
I feel
that
like
was
it's
tough to
always going to
follow.
be better.
Best match tonight right off the bat.
It's always going to be better than the men's, and I don't know why that is.
and it was the most watch opening bout they said in history.
Outside of WrestleMania.
Like and it's outside of WrestleMania. Yeah, you're right. But that's amazing.
It's still great.
I
love
have
Damage
a
Control,
question.
man. I
I
love
wanted
Damage
to
Control.
wanted to pin you guys on it. And if I was a reporter with Triple H at the end after he talked about the great return of R-Truth, I would have asked, "Hey Trips, how come there was only a 4-on-4 set for the ladies versus 5-on-5 for the men's set?" I would argue, was it time generated? Was it just the way you wanted it? But I would also say, like, I thought it was cleaner 4-on-4.
I'm glad you brought that up about the reporters.
I thought it was there was just less bullshit if it was 4-on-4. But
By the way, real quick, not to interrupt, as we're reporting this, I'm getting articles popping up.
Uh-oh.
They're laying off tons of corporate employees right now at WWE, which I knew they would.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that's
Because
that's
of
part of the
Flair?
absorption into Endeavor.
What? Yeah, the Endeavor merger. It's finally coming to fruition.
Yeah, so the
That
corporate is
didn't
like
take
merging.
long. Yeah,
but they're gonna be offering
you're
big money
not.
for guys to stay.
You're employed by WWE. You're not employed by Endeavor, so you gotta go.
What?
It's TKO. Thank you, TKO.
Vince
TKO
is all,
on
we're
the
restarting
side.
WWF. Come on,
Yeah.
they fired me too.
So like, I don't
Shit.
know if it was a time thing because the women's match was 33 minutes and the men's match was 34. So they both were the same length.
How's that? Yeah, so it's not a time
I
thing.
think the only reason why they did it, I mean, they could have done it with like 3-on-4 on the men's one, is that Drew turned last minute and then now they're like, well, we don't have a person. And they just wanted an excuse to bring Orton back. But they could have done that with 4-on-4. One of Cody's team gets injured and taken out. Well, who do you got now? It's like, oh, I'll show
yeah,
you.
because I'll tell you one that McDonough didn't have to be in there. I mean, that,
Wait,
I
was
would've been
women
okay with that.
3 and men were
I like
5,
the
or was it
men's.
all
No,
5
it was
consistently?
Women
for
were
the
4.
women's.
No, I mean a time between entrance.
Oh no, there were 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes.
No, it's 5.
It's 5
No,
minutes.
5. You started with 5 minutes on the match, and then it was 2 to bring each people in each time. 2.
I thought it was 3 because Joe made a comment
See?
on
No,
that.
you
He's
might
like,
be right.
I
I
might
think
be
it was
fine.
3 for women. I
yeah,
think it was
because
longer
Joe
for-
was like 3 minutes is a little too long, even though we thoroughly enjoyed that match. We're like, this match is fucking great.
I like both matches. I thought both matches were amazing. But yeah,
Maybe
the
it
women's
was
match.
different, Craig. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was 3 then 2, and that's what evened it out.
Speaking of
So-
a surprise, real quick too, Gunther and the Miz was better than it had any right
Yeah, it
to be.
was-
That match,
Yes,
was
we
really
were all
good.
talking about that. Like the
It was
best
12 minutes. That was excellent. That was a really,
Miz's
really good match, too.
aggressiveness, like good
I
job.
love
Miz.
I loved all of it.
And good for Gunther to allow that and the producers to make Miz credible.
Well, that's what they want to see from Gunther is that like they know that he knows how to sports entertain as well. But you
Yes.
could be snug still and make it work. It's
Right.
great. Escobar is a star.
I
and we
love him.
all agree on
I
that.
love him.
He's awesome. That was a good
special.
match too with him and Dragon Lee
Yeah.
was excellent and a great like the video packages. Joe was like, I don't watch the product that much anymore. I just know like the main stuff and what you guys talk about on the podcast. But he's like, I was completely caught up after that 1 minute video package. He's like, everything I understand,
Perfect.
everything. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it was really cool. And then Rhea Ripley against Zoe Stark was exactly what I expect.
Yeah.
Only because like nobody can hold a candle to her to Rhea.
Do we
to me.
like
So
Zoe
it's like,
Stark?
I like.
I
Zoe
do.
Stark.
She
I liked her
impressed
in
me that
NXT.
match. I don't know if she's ready for that next
That's
level.
why I say
but
watch
she,
NXT. You'll see a lot of great talent, and she was one of them.
She is great.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, she's fantastic
Yep.
in there. Yeah.
I mean, they're all good athletes. It's just whether they connect with their characters or not. Like,
yeah,
that's the big thing.
yeah.
when
As
you
far
get
as
to the
that
roster.
goes, she's still. I think
Yeah.
she's still trying to find that. But
Yeah,
There's-
you know,
there's-
and I'm
there's
glad
more
they,
work
you know,
to be done.
because she was, she probably learned a lot from being in that program with Trish and all that stuff too. And so, like, I think that she's only going to get better.
Yeah.
And the match was fine.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like it didn't look like the moment was too big for her.
Rhea kind of made her. She gave her
Yeah.
her
Gave 'em her
moments.
dues,
Yeah.
yep.
I fucking love Rhea so much.
I know,
Rhea's the
especially
best.
what she was wearing. But yeah,
Rhea's incredible in and out of the ring and running Judgment Day. It's
she basically said
And I like her CM Punk response too. She was like,
"Oh yeah, she was."
So you're going to
See, they're playing it good.
Oh, not this one.
yeah. I was
Definitely one of the better Survivor Series. There's been 500 Survivor Series.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's up there.
I think it was like 30 something or whatever. Like Jesus,
Yeah.
man, because I forgot. Like it was only like 3 years out. It came out 3 years after Mania. So
Right.
it's
Right.
crazy.
I love that Michael Cole mentioned that. It's the actually number 2, like the second oldest pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think it's Rumble or SummerSlam, and like it's not. It's Survivor
not.
Series.
And you know what I've become? I've become the dude that stays up and watches all the media scrums live. So it doesn't matter whether it's
fun to do.
AEW and WWF.
There
brought
was
that back
no
up
way
again.
we weren't watching the
Did you
media scrum
see-
after a Punk return, though. That was hilarious.
Did you see the freaking idiot reporter that called Charlotte and Becky like, "Oh, you guys are up there." Like he just kept asking the stupidest.
He kept
questions.
digging his own grave. He's
And they
like, "You
kept
guys are almost
shitting on
done,
him
or
was
long in
great.
the
Yeah.
tooth, or like." And they're like, "What?
Like, what? Oh, we're old.
All of them.
No,
are dumb.
let me
All of them are
rephrase
dumb.
it. You're veterans." He's like, and then he's just fucking.
Yeah, he's
He
like,
gave-
I'm not
he-
saying I
yeah.
respect the lower end of the internet wrestling community, like the ones that AEW lets come in their thing. But I mean, at least their questions sound more like our questions in a way.
Yeah.
All the WWE bullshit is just like they
Oh,
want
this guy
bubblegum
wasn't going by
people.
their
They
script.
easily pre-screen their stuff. Yeah, it's just all stupid. Like I'm like, oh, why even talk about it?
This guy wasn't
Like-
because he was just asking the stupidest fucking questions, and
Yeah.
like the WWE did not tell you to ask that one, like, or make
Yeah.
yourself.
Well, once
But I
sound like
love
a
that, like
bum.
you see, like Becky and Charlotte, like the fire and the spark is kind of back with them because
yeah.
they were both fucking with him, which
Yep.
I enjoyed it.
Yep.
Like
Oh, I
it made
loved
him
it.
super
I
uncomfortable.
loved it. God.
And
Yeah,
then
it's like
Cody
Buy from-
pretended he was Triple H with the glasses when he was rattling
was
off all the
hilarious.
Oh,
good
he was
stuff,
kind of
like,
giving
too.
the guy a hard time too, huh? Like the
Yeah.
guy that asked. I forgot what the question he was asked, but I remember him
Cody
kinda,
is so such a great baby
He
face for
is.
that company. Like he's so great. Like he really is. Like
dude. They're on fire with
and
like,
even
everybody.
just being like third and fourth, like Cody knew how to blend in the background on the cage match, and then like it was a nice touch that Orton threw Damien at him and said, "You get the pin," because it's his dad's
Yeah.
match. So he's like, "You go ahead." Like it just
Everything.
makes me love Orton even
Yeah.
more. But
When he-
like it's just
When he finishes the story in 2027, it's going to be just epic.
you were gonna do something like
Do
that.
it. Hey, you know what? You have. This is like where you have everything at the top is great and everything below it is great too. Right now, like almost every segment is enjoyable. Like on it, I like Alpha
they're making
Academy.
no mistakes on live event on PLEs.
I love Alpha Academy, like what they're doing with them. I love what they're doing with
Yeah.
Escobar and the LWO now. Where I like
Yeah.
maybe a couple months ago I didn't give a shit really. Just like
I don't have the patience to watch SmackDown and Raw every week, but
I
like
do now.
their PLEs
They got me
are
hooked.
fantastic.
They got me hooked. I'm watching it
I'm
every
telling you,
week.
you just gotta watch it the next day on Hulu, man. Just
NXT?
cuts out all the BS.
And I know
watching it every
Cuz
week.
loves and respects the shit out of NXT. I don't watch NXT, but
You
I know I'm
should.
sure it's fantastic too.
It's yeah.
I think it's hard for me because like what was I doing? I was just going down a wormhole like on the Instagram like reels and all that stuff, and they showed the War Games in NXT years ago when Kevin Owens came back. And Adam Cole and his faction were in there, and that pop that he got, I was like, God, the black and gold was so fun, and like
Yes.
I
Yeah.
love the black and gold, man.
I do
like
too.
the
And
New
they
Orleans,
reference-
the New Orleans Takeover is still one of my favorite pay-per-views
Oh,
ever.
yeah.
Like
Mhm.
I
And
love that
didn't they
fucking
reference
show.
Io Shirai, Io Sky as like she has the most like 4 or 5 war game matches? I had no
Yeah,
idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's
Was
been
it
the most.
NXT?
Yeah,
NXT.
It was NXT.
Yeah,
Yeah.
NXT.
I still, one of my favorite photos is the New Orleans Takeover up high in the Smoothie King Center,
Yep.
and it's the ladder match, and everyone's just like laid splayed
so
out
good. That whole
outside
show
the
was
ring.
just breathtaking, man.
I
Like,
have
that
the-
whole show was.
We
so
have a
good.
great picture of when Adam Cole was on the ladder with the belt like this. Man,
it's
I love
awesome.
it. I have it on
it's
my
awesome.
fridge outside.
What a great period for them. Like I mean, it was better than the main roster. I was like,
It
NXT
really
is, like,
was.
the
It
best
was.
product.
It
Yeah.
was.
I haven't been this invested.
It was
in
more
for a
fun than
while.
the Mania. It really was.
Yeah.
Ever since last year, like because I actually wasn't like I would only get like the Sling TV after the Manias just to watch the Raw and stuff. And then I just didn't really watch it for a while, and then I don't know. This last year, I've been watching every week. And NXT,
That's good though. There, I
NXT,
mean,
yeah.
look, like I said in the beginning of the show, and again, we all feel this way. I just said it, but I mean, like it's so different under Triple H
Oh,
and
yeah.
Shawn Michaels in NXT. That he's doing a great job there, and it's I only say it's not as good as the black and gold because I don't watch it, but Cuz might disagree. Cuz does watch it all the time. So like it might be it seems like it's almost on parallel with them again. The crowd
is
super responsive. The crowd is actually starting to be different, if that makes any
They
sense.
are.
Like when they made it generic and they did the color splash stuff and all
yeah.
that, I felt like it was a television studio audience.
Felt like
But
it was
now I'm
fake.
feeling like the NXT crowds are more we're individual again. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like because the black and gold NXT crowd was so different from the main roster.
Right.
They were hardcore wrestling fans that just wanted
Well,
an alternative. Like
Did you
we
guys
just
watch?
wanted
You
to
guys
see
watched the
something
last
fun.
pay per view, right? Where Tiffany Stratton versus Becky headlined.
Yeah,
that
the
crowd.
Halloween
That
Havoc one?
crowd. No, not the Halloween Havoc. That was
takeover. Yes, yeah.
That crowd was. It reminded me of the black and gold crowd. I forgot where they did it, but they
Yeah,
did it in
they're
like a
getting back.
12,000.
They're getting back to that level.
They
I
did
think
it.
for
Yeah,
sure.
they filled out 13,000 seats for NXT.
Well,
This
especially
version of
I hate to say
NXT.
that if AEW can't deliver on what NXT was and NXT's going back to it, people are going to flock back. I mean,
Oh yeah.
a lot of those
So
guys
I
are the
think,
same
yeah.
fans.
Well, I mean, to wrap it up, I know we've been going a long time, but it does
Who
all
cares?
tie
We're going
together
3 more
because
hours.
you had that black and gold be that alternative brand in the same company, which I thought was
Right.
genius. Vince may not have loved it because Vince always looked at it. That's my feeder system that I pay a lot of money for.
I got to rebuild them when they come up. He
Yeah,
didn't
when
like
they come
that.
up to the main roster and they think they're just going to do all these high spot, like steal
Yeah.
the show stuff on Raw, I got to calm them down and they're mad, and then I want them to do character work and they're like, what's character work? And like, so I get that Vince didn't like that connection, but as fans, we were like, the black and gold is fucking badass. Like, this is the
Oh, yeah.
best shit we've seen in forever. And AEW was like that in the beginning. And then again, once Triple H got his arms around the product and he was able to, I think that was a turning point. I think that's the problem. I don't know they're doing too much different than what they were doing 3 years ago, but they had a lot of public backfiring, the CM Punk thing being the biggest one. And they've had a lot of other people not do them favors by just running their goddamn mouth. And it's like, well, you left WWE the first time because you thought this was going to be greener for you. Looking at you, Miro, looking at you, a handful of other people. And it's not, is it? Because you don't
Cesaro.
connect wherever you go. So you should look at yourself instead of bitching and be like, what can I do different? Miro, can you be anything else but like a brooding bully? Like that's all your character is, whether you have an accent or whether you don't have an accent. Like it just doesn't matter. Like to me, I'm like,
Cesaro
can't you
seems
be
like the same
something
person
else?
to
Like
me as well.
like, yeah, my name's
unfortunately.
he
Miro.
is.
And I love Cesaro.
He is, and it's like that these people are going to be unhappy. My point is that they're going to be unhappy wherever they go. And it doesn't matter. And they're not going to connect wherever they go. Perfect 10 didn't connect because he's
Yeah.
not a guy
Where's
that's
he at?
going to, exactly. And it's like, it's just, yes, there are going to be some people that I would like to see leave AEW, like Ricky Starks. If you're not going to use them, you're fucking lost. Put Ricky
I know
Starks
he's
in,
gone
or in
as
NXT
soon as his contract-
He's
immediately.
Cody's
Like,
friend too,
Yeah,
right?
he's gone.
fucking-
He's gone as soon as the contract.
so is that
up.
QT guy. That QT guy runs the Cody's
Nightmare
indie
Factory?
training school or
He's
whatever.
got an
Oh,
NXT
for
job.
real?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah,
He's gonna
so
have an
they-
NXT job.
I think that was going to happen no matter what. When Cody left, I think he just wrote his contract out. That QT guy did, and now he's gone. But okay, it opens up new opportunities.
Mhm.
You're just going to get the right group of people in there that will understand Tony Khan's ignorance but be good with it rather than take advantage of it like some people are now. And even fucking what's her face, Brit, and even if it's part of an angle, shut the fuck up on social media. Shut up.
Yeah.
Like, 0 minutes for
0
me.
minutes for
Well,
me.
okay.
Yeah.
We're bored of this. We're bored
I
of
was-
you.
I was
We're
like,
bored of the
good.
glove. Like, yeah.
Because you
We're
don't see
bored
that
of
from
what
the
you
WWE
do,
guys,
so-
you don't.
Yeah. Why not give Edge and Christian fucking the time? Because they have history. They're actually going to draw eyeballs like to the product.
Yeah,
if you give
because
them
I
the
like
chance.
watching
Like,
that. That's why you should give them the
and
time.
MJF's your world champion, so he
Yeah.
should have 10 minutes. Shut up. Like Tony Storm is doing more than you are. You're the same gimmick. You do the same boring bullshit. Like that's it. Be different if you want to change something. Don't just be like,
Tony
well, I've been doing the
completely
same
changed
thing.
her character work completely. I mean,
And now she's over, or at least she's being favored. She's not over super, but she's getting. I don't like heels getting cheers, and she's getting a lot of cheers. She's interesting. She's fun, and she's having fun. That's more important when you see somebody having fun. Like Adam
Right.
Cole is finally coming to life because he's doing something that he likes doing. The injury sucked. MJF, you could tell he's very stimulated. Like there's some people there that are like, I like this. I like doing it. Khan needs to fucking fill with that people. If Omega and them only want to come in and do their matches, that's great. Don't poison the well. Like just let you and the elite Young Bucks can do your shit, and we'll march in. Well, now we got Osprey there, so we can have like cool stuff with him. But I hope Osprey hits the ground running. I really hope that they don't poison.
The
I
him.
crowd,
feel
the
like,
crowd was super stoked about it. Obviously.
Omega might be trying to separate himself from the Young Bucks. Maybe they're the ones that are being the more immature ones because they're going to end their being the elite show.
Yeah,
and
they're going to be
starting their
heels.
own thing, killing the business. That's gonna be like their new little thing.
Did you see
So-
the way they ended
That's what they
Jericho's
renamed
taking
it.
Omega
Uh,
under
They've
his wing, you know?
trademarked Super Dick Party, by the way.
Well,
like legit. So instead of Super Kick, they're going to be heels. They're going to do like a big heel
And
faction.
Flair-
but it's
Flair's gonna
Super
be their
Dick Party
manager?
They trademarked for real.
There you go.
What'd you say, Jess?
Flair's going to be their manager.
Oh my god!
Oh
Well,
my God,
here's
Jess.
the
Bring the
thing that I
fifth, or Young
can't-
Bucks.
Here's what I don't
I can see
understand
it.
about it. Like,
But you
if
see what I mean? The right person could get Flair and be like, "Ooh, we could use you." Just
Yes,
fucking
the
let
Young
me
Bucks.
just
keep
Keep
doing what
saying
you're
all the stuff that you're
but,
saying.
But here's
No
the thing:
filter.
if you were gonna be like that, and you were gonna be a little bitch and be the what we said the dick
Super
kick
dick
factory,
party.
I don't even know whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't even care. But they want to do all this now when the person that was the main catalyst for that is gone, and at the same
I
time,
know.
when they lost their match, they tore the whole freaking ring apron and everything apart. I'm like, this doesn't help your cause for looking like a little bitch.
Oh, the
about
Bucks
CM
ripped
Punk's-
up the ring apron.
They-
when
Yeah,
lost?
after they lost the
They
tag match to
tore
Omega
everything
and Jericho at the
apart.
pay per view, they
It was-
fucking tore everything up on the ringside, threw
and
the
they had,
mats up,
and
got
there was
pissed
still
off.
a match left. They had to go and refix everything. I'm
They
like,
threw
what
they
is
threw a
this?
tantrum.
Oh, that's them being heel.
Yeah, oh,
didn't-
no,
I
that's- that probably- it has to
But
be.
it wasn't. But it
Oh.
wasn't even. It wasn't heel heat that you liked. It was like get out of my ring, get off.
Yeah,
my
they were
feet.
trying to be heel. They weren't really mad, but like
But
they
were
weren't trying. But I
being-
was like,
but they just came off
Yeah.
as little bitches. I didn't understand it at all. But maybe that's just my. I have a bias for.
I hope that's the
Listen,
point. That might be the
was
point.
not-
as
it did
good
not-
and as
didn't
successful
help
as
me
the
at
Young
all.
Bucks are, I said it on my thing. I've never gotten them, but I respect the fact that on the Indies they made tons of money, and
Oh,
them
yeah.
and Omega generated kind of their own like little system, and I think I admire that.
Yeah, no,
But,
that's awesome.
That's all they can do. Like when you get on the main product, and Khan's learning that like holy shit, when you're broadcast on national television, you need to have a presence. You can't just be what they do. They do the same thing on the Indies that they're doing in AEW, and it only goes so
when you're
far.
when you're in
You
the
can't
traveling
hit- yeah.
circus, you're in a different town and no one's seen you before. And they see all the flippy dippies and all the kicks. It's great. But to your point, when you're on TV every week and the same people see you every week, it's no
You
longer.
gotta be
original,
intriguing as
innovative.
characters. Yeah.
So
like,
the thing about
Yeah.
them, I think, is if you watch Being the Elite, you get them. They have no presence on camera in the 2 minutes or minute and a half backstage kind of thing. They're like
Right.
a slow burn kind of, but there's not a match they put on that has bored me. Like they're always
they're
must
creative.
watch.
physically,
Always-
they are
always
so
entertaining.
creative in the ring. Like they are really creative people, and like I'm not saying they're not. They just don't connect. That's why I don't get them. I'm like, so what else
That's
do you
a
do?
very good point.
Omega
Like,
at least tried.
I'm sports
Omega when he had Don
entertained when they
Callis.
fight.
I think Omega's the greatest champion they've had. When he was heel with Don Callis, he was awesome. Like
Yeah, that's the
Omega was
best.
awesome.
That was the
Like
best.
I mean, it was just
yeah.
and they knew how to make the formula work, but Young
But
Bucks
it's
just
true, like,
never
so-
landed that.
Is it I'm about to, because you're kind of exception of the rule here, because like you're not as old as us, but like, are we? Okay, let me see how I can say it. Is it the same opinion that we have of everyone else of the Bucks, or like people like the YouTube generation of 20-year-olds see them a little bit differently because of being the elite? Like we don't see them charisma backstage and on promo, but like
It's the
their
Bullet Club.
BTE and stuff, you respect them and watch them. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
No, I do, Craig, but I charisma translates no matter how old you are. Like we're in our 40s, the three of us are, not cuz. But like you're almost 40, right? Are you? You're 38?
I'm 20.
That's serious.
Dog.
I believed him. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
2
right.
days
How
ago.
could I not
2
know?
days ago.
it's the shrooms.
But like I think
Happy
charisma
birthday,
translates
buddy.
no matter what. Like the young people like LA Knight, they excite me. They get me excited. All the
Oh,
young
yeah.
people, Cody and Sammy and Kevin Owens, like even though they've been around a long time, but I mean like they excited me years ago. You know, Samoa Joe, I love Samoa Joe.
love
And I
Samoa Joe.
even love the younger people. Like I like
Yeah.
Wardlow, I like Ricky Starks, I like
Right.
all those people too. So if you're good and you translate, it'll start happening no matter what age
Yeah.
you are. If you like pro wrestling, that's what we all have in common. It's all linked
Yeah.
somehow.
I'm saying they translate on YouTube in their BTE like world, but they don't
Right.
translate on Dynamite for the 3-minute and
Because
promos and
you're
stuff.
catering to
Do you know what I'm-
millions
I'm-
of people.
Like, it's a
Yeah.
different like thing, but I don't know whether it's matter. Like, I'm sure not that
Hey
many
Craig,
people are watching.
you know what it is? You just said it. It's Mike Tyson when you just watch him fight, and then it's also Mike Tyson when you hear him talk. Like, oh, what is that? That's what it is.
That's
what?
They are missing something. They're absolutely missing something. Like,
They-
his children.
I mean, for
When
that
they're not in the ring.
they had the Bullet Club faction.
I'm the best
for
fighter in
you
the
know
world.
that was like their catapult, as far
And they were
as
all friends and and you felt their energy
because
they
it
all
was
liked
cool.
each
It
other,
felt
and, like,
cool,
so,
like it really did feel cool, like the NWO when it was when Balor was the leader and he had Gallows, Anderson, and the Young Bucks. It felt like a cool faction. It really did.
it was cool.
And they were doing some good stuff in Japan. So and then
Club,
Kenny,
yeah.
But they separated from that now, and they're not. And I don't know. And if it's true that they're divas backstage, that's also adding to it now.
That's what I'm saying. If you're a diva backstage and that's the rumor, don't act like a diva in the ring when you lose. It just doesn't. It doesn't pay off.
Well, no. If you want to try to make money with it, and
pick up a
it
weight.
it was a big miss. Is all I'm saying. It was a big miss.
I feel like Triple H probably already had the talk with Punk. He's like, since they failed to make money with you, eventually they might come over here. Are you gonna work with them? You're gonna be good. We're gonna make some money. Like,
and Punk,
I feel like that, and he has a long contract.
He might have put the example on him.
Yeah, sure, Triple H.
Triple H is just telling. I'm sure Triple H had that talk with him, saying like, if that happens, if the situation presents itself and we can make money, why not? Like, why wouldn't we do that? That would be that would be awesome if they actually were able to bring that storyline over with Omega.
Dude,
and
if you mentioned, oh my god,
and I
wouldn't be surprised
before Vince got unceremoniously dismissed or whatever. Cody leaving started the turn. I felt.
Mm-hmm.
When Cody left, I did feel a part of their heart was gone, and I was like, man, but that's why I was glad to see him in WWE. I'm like, he's a star like his dad, and that was great to see. And it's so great to see him now still being a leader. He's amazing. But yeah, it's like there was two big blows. Cody leaving.
He saw the building kind of falling apart, like the structure was falling apart when Cody was like, something's wrong. I think he sensed it right away, and he was probably the sense of reason with a lot of guys. Because Cody understands how to do business.
That's when I was watching it more consistently, and that's when I felt like I was like, okay, this is.
It's when they threw the weight belt back at him, right? That's
like,
that moment when Cody knew it was over. He threw the weight belt in the crowd, and they threw the weight belt back at him.
I don't know.
Did they really? Oh, I don't remember. I didn't know that. I missed that.
Like, I don't know.
But he was also
honestly, no. It was the way he was booked, and I don't know if that was him or Tony Khan, but putting Anderson in his corner was dumb. Brandy, his wife, I hate her on screen. She's awful.
Yeah, she's
and
really bad.
She comes across as a heel no matter what she does. She's terrible. And so, like, I think people hated her.
While she's wrestling.
And then when you have any kind of face manager, like, is awful. And so Anderson, all those people in Cody's corner, like, I'm like, you're the heel. Like, what do you? So people were booing him because they're like, you got this whole fucking entourage around you. Like, there's nothing babyface about you. Like, his only good. Well, he was good I even liked his program that he was doing with Brody. Like, that was awesome when Brody beat him in like 30 seconds for the and then he started his own little cult stable. I was really into that. I was like,
exactly
good, man. Like,
but see, there's a difference now. Like that, there's a difference from when he left, and then it just slowly started. It's just something that you felt like we're obviously not backstage, but you could just like kind of. I don't know if it was just like maybe some of the way the wrestlers' emotions were or portrayed on screen, but it just seems like it was not the same locker room that it was when they first. In their inception, it just seemed like things were just kind of falling apart.
Well, it was all new, and guess what? I'm sure they all worked hard on indies. It's different though when you get to a main national company, and so they're all like, "But I worked hard." I'm like, "You all fucking work hard." Like,
Triple H said that, by the way. You know, Triple H talked about this. Like, what do you say to the people who are like, "Well, they work hard"? He's like, "Well, everybody here works hard.
We all fucking work hard. Like, we're all in the same business."
He's like, at the end of the day, it's about who. He didn't say who has it, but he kind of said it without saying. He's like,
it's who connects.
He said it. He said you have to find that connection, and the connection with the crowd is what makes the difference. Everybody here works hard. Roman works harder than anyone, and Roman got doused for years, and not now. He doesn't.
Mick Foley said the same thing. He's like, I like my character, and I got all those runs with the Undertaker, but it was when Austin pulled him aside in the back one time. He's like, "God damn, son, they're turning your babyface on." And he's like, "No," and he's like, "Mick," and it was right after they filmed the segments where he had the sit down interviews with JR. And like he was just talking, he's like, "You think I like this? Like, you think I like being made fun of on the schoolyard? And you think I liked eating worms? I did it because I needed attention." And you felt something for Mick Foley at that point. You're like, "Oh man, I feel sorry for him." And so that's when Austin's like, "God damn, huh?" And he's like, "No, I'm not. They're not turning me babyface." He's like, "Just wait." And then like 2 weeks later, he's like, "They're fucking cheering me." He's like, "I fucking told you that they're turning you babyface." Like,
that's so
and it's
funny.
like. Foley's like, that was my connection. That was my in. And then, then I felt connected with them. So I wanted to do more like for them, the crowd, and get them to cheer for me. And like, and even when he turned heel, he was in it. He was like ignorant. He's like, "Well, don't turn heel, Mankind." He's like, "I don't know where I am." And like, we cheered him back over to the face side every time. like because we liked him. You connect. You have to find a way to connect, and like it's just sometimes you can be in it for a long time. Look at LA Knight. He connected.
Yep.
He was doing the same thing, ironically, that he had always been doing, but it just somehow
it finally
hit the
worked.
stride. Like it's going to be a moment. It's a moment that you hit. You know, Austin's was the promo. It wasn't what he said necessarily. I mean, yes, he said that stuff, but it was like, it was Joe and I looked at each other when he said ass. We're like, oh, like, because we'd never, like, WWF never let you say that. And then he was like, you know,
Right.
Austin 316, which was super, like clever, says, I just whipped your ass. And Joe and I were like, did he just say ass? Like, we were more just wrapped up on that. We're like, yeah, it was clever what he did with the Bible verse in 316. I get it. But, like, we're like, he said ass. Like, and then he was super edgy and always said that.
Felt real.
It was the connection. I connected with Austin, even though we liked him as a wrestler long before that. Like, once I connected with him, I was like, holy shit, like, he's a big deal. Like, you felt him. Like, you couldn't deny him. Like, Sammy, same way.
Right.
Even Kevin Owens to a certain extent. There was just a time where now when his music pops, you feel a certain way about KO. And, like, it's because he connected at one point, he got you. And you're like,
I can't believe
okay,
I can't believe it wasn't at Survivor Series. That was weird. But
yeah, I don't
Him
know. It
or
was LA
Sammy.
Knight, which was weird. Yeah, or Sammy was in the cage match.
You have too many acts
No,
that are
Kevin
over
Owens.
that you can't just.
Oh.
Now you just can't. You're either going to put them low on the card, and people are like, "Oh, look at that, they're on low on the card," or you don't have them on there. There's too many fucking. There's too much great talent there now that are
That's
really
good
over.
though. It was like that in the 80s
It's a
when
good
we
problem
grew
to
up.
have.
We didn't know till later, but I was like, the whole card was loaded. You know, Tito Santana opened to WrestleMania. That's Tito Santana. Like, you know, like he had so much accomplishment.
I'd still
Someone's
argue
gotta
the talent.
open it.
I still argue
Yeah.
the talent's better today than it ever was for
Oh,
every single match.
Yeah.
for sure. And but I mean, it's like, yeah, when we grew up, we're talking about people that never won titles, like Roberts and Piper and Orndorff and all those people were like, God, those names I just said, like right now, it's insane to think they
for
never won
sure.
belts. They never did. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I know
I
Piper
think-
won a
I think
thank you
Triple
IC
H
title later, but
I think Triple H knows too. Like, I can't just put someone on the card just to put him on the card. It should mean something. I think he's gonna
it should
kind
mean
of
something. Yeah.
be more conservative, like on that.
Yeah,
like, be
and
like, you know,
KO's
we're not
KO's on a reset. To your point, right?
Yeah, he's on
They're
SmackDown.
They're resetting KO on SmackDown.
Yeah, and that's why they did the
I'm sure
shake
they
up
got-
I know
they
we've
got
gone
plans for
long,
more
but
there.
with the
I
dress.
fucking forgot that promo that KO cut last week, and I was just I just forget how goddamn good he
I love
is.
him.
Like, and because he was like, he came out and he's the badass, and Waller and Austin Theory are just stupid. Like,
They're
not
fucking
in
funny,
real
dude.
life, but just their characters are stupid together because they're funny. And
They're
like,
cracking me
and
up.
Kevin Owens was like the counter. Like he was, you knew he was smarter than them and he knew he was smarter than them. And he's like talking shit on the promo, but then they said something to him and he's like, the reason why I did that is because you guys made fun of me. And then I was like, God damn it, he's good. Because like he could have no-sold that, but instead he got just as animated as them to match them, but he was still the smarter character, if that makes any sense. And I was like, he's fucking so brilliant. And like, it's just,
So, did you watch
him and
SmackDown?
Sammy.
The double punch was
I have not,
hilarious,
no.
too.
Go
The
back
double
and
punch
watch-
was so funny.
Dude, Logan Paul and Kevin Owens, for one, that's going to be great promos back and forth. They were doing so good. And then freaking Austin Theory and Waller came out. Stupid Austin Theory when he said, oh, why don't you punch him over there? He's a boxer. Like, he's all, see if you can knock him out, blah, blah, blah. He's all, I guess when Logan Paul's done with you, he's like, you're not going to be able to punch anyone's face. And as soon as he said it like that, he opened his eyes all wide with a stupid face, and Owens just knocked his ass out. It was so fucking funny. Like, it was so great. Like, Austin Theory is finding himself with this whole thing. And then Logan Paul on commentary. Dude, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know if he's going to get heat for it or if Owens is like, do it because it's going to rile me up. He's all, I always thought of Owens as the Humpty Dumpty of WWE. How does he move around with that egg-shaped body? He's all, that's a lot of weight coming down on him. He's like, he's got
hilarious.
dude, the whole time on commentary, he was just talking shit. He's all, that's pretty heavy weight right there. He's all, yeah, look at, see, I told you, look how he moves that egg shape around the ring. Like he was just the whole.
I think at the
fucking
end of
match.
the day, they come up together and say, "What's off limits?" And Kevin's like, "Nothing."
No,
nothing.
Yeah, and I think Owens just said, hey, do it. Say whatever that's going to be personal. You know, I think it's going to be great stuff with them. Like it's going to be awesome.
Even Cornette hated KO, man, back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, he had to come around. Like
He still hates him now.
Correct
probably,
stuff.
he probably does.
No, no.
So him and Sam.
He's an angry old man.
Before
Damn KO.
before
He's
we
just making money. He just knows what his how
we
his
don't
bread is
know
buttered.
how true it is. This
Fair
could be
enough.
the perfect way to end it.
Fucking wear regular tights, KO.
We don't know how true this is, but what if the potentials that we're hearing that it might be Austin and Punk?
No, thank you.
Well,
I
yeah, I don't know
mean,
if
I don't think they're
Austin
going to do it. I think it's going to be Rollins, honestly. But I think after Austin
It's
and
all
Owens,
it's all set up for that.
it's got to be Rollins.
Night
That's the
one
big-
I think that if Austin can't sports entertain, I don't think Austin would want to try to, because he would have to physically go with Punk, and Punk still got a good amount left
think
in the
so.
tank. Like, but I think Austin, if he can't
I don't know
wrestle
if Punk can
CM Punk,
carry
then, yeah.
Austin. Like
That's exactly, yeah. I don't know if that would be Austin's best interest. And
I
I wouldn't want to see those two have a match and be sports entertaining, because that's not Punk's character, and it's really not Austin's. Austin can get away with it with Vince because, they
that's
hate
why
each
I don't
other.
think
But,
no one has a confirmed source on it. It's just that
yeah.
it was reported.
someone
to
said
Son Sappy Boy.
it has been broached. Or
It's
yeah.
Son
Yeah, I
Sappy
saw
Boy
that.
reported it.
Yeah.
I mean,
we
like Bruce
talked
says,
about
he's
it.
like, we throw everything against the wall. He's like, when we
Hell
get a
yeah,
leak
kid.
here, when we get a leak in our room or in our office or whatever, Bruce is like, I can't count how many shit that we've thrown up against the wall. It's fucking 2 a.m. and Vince won't let us out of the goddamn room. And we're like, what if Hogan, wears a tutu? Oh, okay, pal, keep going. What else?
What
And
if,
then
what if
and
Macho
then-
took a dump in the ring?
yeah, if somebody goes out of that room and they're like, they're thinking about turning Hulk Hogan heel and making wear a tutu, then that gets reported. And was
Yeah.
it said? He's like, sure, but we were just fucking spitfiring. We're just fucking okay, Vince, you want absurdity? What if, and they just
taking
blurt out,
pictures of those whiteboards if they had whiteboards back then. Just
Wear
like-
my
Oh,
tutu,
yeah,
brother,
all
as
the-
I
like the
perform
shit they threw at
Nutcracker
them.
for the Christmas special,
Tutu,
brother. Nutcracker Mania, Jack.
Yeah.
all right. Well, this has officially been the longest our wrestling podcast unscripted, and it's our return, so I guess it's fitting. An hour and 40.
It's got a big
Jesus
pop.
Christ.
What?
Got a
Hour
big
and 40.
I don't have an hour.
Right?
40.
An
Get
hour
your
and
glasses.
10.
Oh shit!
We're still
I
up
guess
there.
forgot
We're
we
still
were
up
on
there.
Skype. Well, my glasses work, Dave. My thing says an hour and 40, but that's when
It's
we
kind of
started
like we're
Skyping.
Roman
Yeah,
Reigns
so
right
we
now.
started
my eyes work fine. My brain fucking doesn't work. Get it right.
We're Roman Reigns
All right,
record right now. We're not going to break
I'm
my
an
Bruno record.
All right.
Oh, that's right. You do have a record.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bye.
let's not do that.
And stop.
We can try.
You said
Please stop. Please stop.